Welcome to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Podcast, episode 22. My name is Alina Warwick, and today I'm super honored to bring on Dr. Ashish Mudgal. Dr. Ashish Mudgal came from India to study on a PhD program at the University of Missouri to study on the soil, environmental, and atmospheric sciences program. His career led him to work on integrated farming systems through the development of algorithms. In this episode, he tells us what it was like growing up in India and how they lived without power consistently for periods of time and without any central air conditioning. His company has nothing to do with the study of soil and farming, and in fact, it's combining technology with elderly folks to invent a genius product. Dr. Ashish Mudgal gives us some absolutely astonishing advice for all immigrant entrepreneurs, and you're going to absolutely love it. So let's dive right in. All right, Ashish, thank you so much for coming onto the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm really excited to chat with you and learn all about your immigrant entrepreneur journey. So, how are you doing today?
I'm great, and I'm really honored to be on your podcast, Alina. Thanks for inviting me.
So, let's talk a little bit about your immigrant journey. Tell us where you're from and when did you come to the States?
Sure. So I am from India, and I came in 2006. To me, it still feels like yesterday, but when I tell somebody else, like I came in 2006, they're like, oh my God, 15 years. So to me, it still feels like yesterday. And it was an amazing opportunity for learning, exposure, and to start a new life.
Awesome. So, did you come by yourself with your family?
Yeah. So I came alone here in 2006 to pursue my education, actually PhD in agriculture in soil science. And my major was in soil physics from University of Missouri, Columbia.
Wow. Okay. So, did you get a scholarship to come to study on the PhD program?
Good point. Because, yeah, you don't want to get into American education debt. It's huge. You're right. So when I was in India, I was working as a scientist or hydrologist in Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation. I have a couple of friends here in United States who used to be my roommates while undergrad. So they were doing their PhDs or postdoc programs here at Iowa State University. So they kind of guided me, what's the process, how you can come here. And Alina, you might know that a lot of Indians are here in state, so it should be easy to find somebody. But India is huge, right?
Yeah.
And the part of India that I'm from is Haryana. It's North State. You don't find a lot of people getting out of that state even. So it's unusual.
Why is that?
There could be a lot of reasons. I think one is it's one of the very prosperous states in India very early on. So even in 1970s and 60s, it started to progress a lot.
Okay.
And it's just people never wanted to immigrate from there. That could be one of the reasons, but again, there are cultural issues, family bonding. You don't want to go away from your community. But my opinion, I think it's because early on they have seen a lot of prosperity.
Got it. So how did you choose United States versus any other country?
Good point. So my background is agriculture engineering. I did from agriculture university in India. And most of our textbooks, the technology that we were learning there came out of United States. And as I told you, my first job was as a hydrologist. And I was working for a project in International Panel on Climate Change that was part of IPCC in 2005. That was a huge exposure for me. And my immediate boss, was so accommodating. So I already met few people there who have been to US, did their PhDs from US, went back to India, and now have a great career in scientific industry. So learning from them that there are a lot of value in American education. Second, I think, like I said, I had a couple of my roommates, friends from undergrad who were already here. Taking a GRE exam or TOEFL exam was they guide me, but the city where I was working didn't have any institute where I can prepare for GRE. But my boss, immediate boss, he was so amazing. He gave me Saturdays. So in India, we have 6 days a week. So he gave me Saturdays off. So I used to ride 6-hour bus to another city, take my coaching, come back Sunday, and then study on Sunday and Monday again work. So I think a lot of circumstances, people around me made it easy to choose America.
Did you say you were on the bus for 6 hours to help prepare for the GRE test?
Yeah, that was amazing. I used to enjoy it.
Oh my goodness.
I used to leave early in the morning on Saturdays, reach there around afternoon, take my class for 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours it used to be. Saturday, I had a friend there. I used to stay with him, early dinner, sleep, and Sunday back. So I used to reach back by Sunday afternoon and then study because that's the time I have, study for GRE TOEFL, and then Monday work week starts again.
Wow. That's amazing. So you came to the States all by yourself?
Yes, I didn't know anybody except one of my friends, but I applied for the scholarship, like you said, United States Department of Agriculture. The project was funded by USDA. So it was easy. Easy for me. I was getting a good scholarship stipend. And, there are a lot of Indians in every university, almost every university in the United States. But it's pre-social media time. So we didn't have Facebook pages or this. So it was hard. It means you don't have groups where you can just chat. Okay, let's select this apartment and this. But it was not a big struggle. I came here. I know friends. I think it was a cultural change, more or less, rather than any other struggle.
So how old were you when you came in 2006?
I was 26.
That's still fairly young. And you're leaving your entire childhood years at 26 years old. So what was it like growing up in India?
It was amazing, I'll say. I had a great life. I still miss that social intimacy that we have in India. You can say that it might be very intrusive in United States, but in India, that's how you live. Every neighbor knows you. They ask you private questions that you can't imagine in United States. Like how much money you make. Oh, you're not getting married. So any neighbor can ask you these kind of questions. But that's what makes it's incredible. I still miss that kind of cohesiveness.
Yeah, Russia is like that too. So I totally get it.
Yeah, right. And that's why I think we have less depression cases. I don't know. But it was amazing. And I think my family, my dad, now he's retired. He was esteemed professor. He published paper in Nature. He was amazing. My mom, she was a housewife, but she was an entrepreneurial spirit. She has a music school. She had a business at one point. She used to teach dance. She was a people person. So learned a lot from them. But I think growing up, it was a norm. But now when you talk about it, it seems like, oh my God, that was a struggle. But it was not. Like sometimes we used to have electric cuts. Is that what you call them? There is no electricity for a few days. So you have to finish your homework in a candlelight. Or if our home is in the village, you miss one ride, then there is no ride for the whole day. So you have to walk miles. But those were some of the amazing walks I had with my dad or my family. So
wait, why didn't you guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, why didn't you guys have electricity for a period of time?
So let's say could be many reasons. Transformer burst out or the infrastructure was not that stable in early 80s and 90s in India. If you have even a small storm, even if sometimes you see a good breeze or wind going out, you're like, okay, the light gonna go off. And sometimes if you have bigger storms, not like hurricanes or tornadoes, even smaller, much smaller than that, you will have electric cut for 3 days, 2 days. But that's as a kid, means more time to play.
So no school. You're sitting at home playing.
No, you have to go. Means school is during the daytime, so you have to go to the school without electricity, and sometimes the temperature is like 115, 110 Fahrenheit. But I think you never felt. Means it was fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think that's what, as a first generation of immigrants who come here,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even feel like a struggle when you're doing your groceries here and walking from Walmart to your house, or you have to spend like hours working outside in the field. For me, it was like just collecting sample data, soil samples, and all those things. So I think it kind of creates a great foundation for what you're going to be doing next in your life.
So I want to ask, did you guys have central air conditioning?
Oh no.
No.
No. Even now, it's not that common in India. India has changed a lot in last 20 years. I think I get a generational, what do you call it, gap when I go back there. It's so advanced now. But still, we don't have much of central air conditioning. There was no air conditioner in most of the houses in India. Even the schools, there was just one fan, and sometimes there's no electricity. The temperature is 110, 115.
Wow.
You are sweating, but it was. I never felt. Now we are talking about it, I was like, oh my God, how I did it. But at that time, it never felt like a problem.
Right, because I think we get so used to the environment, we think that the entire world doesn't have any ACs, right? Or the entire world has the same problems like we do. We kind of just, get immersed in that culture, that society. I don't know. That's just my thought. But yeah, you're totally right. A lot of people here have a lot different struggles.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're totally right. I usually tell my wife, sometime we have discussion. Means some people are really in problem. I'm not saying about them, but most of the times we are not unhappy because in what state we are. We are unhappy because of our expectations. And then the difference between our current state and the expectations, if it's huge, we're going to be unhappy. Otherwise, I don't think anybody is unhappy. Like you said, we think everything is like it is. So you just have fun in it.
Right. That's so powerful. Thank you so much. So, Ashish, before you tell our listeners about your company, tell me a little bit about the path you took. Did you try to go into any other fields before starting your business?
Yeah. So I remember, Steve Jobs somebody said that when you look back, the dots connect, right? And now when I was actually looking into your questions and I was looking back, the dots connect. I never imagined in my life that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But now when I look back, like my dad he has an amazing quality, I'll say, that he can boost your confidence so much. For example, if you have never flew in an airplane, he can boost your confidence so much that after an hour you will feel like, I can fly an airplane. Forget about sitting in it. So that was inside us, like my brother and I.
I love it.
Anything, right? And my mom with all the people person. So I love it. Those things going out. And then I kept doing research. I was doing PhD here. And when you are doing things, you felt like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Nothing is happening in my way. But when you look back, everything was happening for a reason. So one of my research objective during PhD got compared. I don't know, Alina, if you were into computer games, but in 2007, so there was a game where farming related, where you grow things on computer and they take time, and they say like it's the most idiotic game in the world, that you are growing carrots on computer. So one of my research objective got compared to that, because I was simulating hundreds of years of agriculture and its impact on soil and water conservation.
Wow.
So I was like, man, how they can compare to this shitty game? But actually, because of that, Times Magazine, Discovery News, everybody start picking it. They're like, because of the video game has already a big name, they start picking this research. And our research was actually amazing because it simulated the impact for hundreds of years now, how it's impacting water quality, soil quality, the yield. And that kind of put you and my advisors in the limelight. And because of that, I got a position at Monsanto in St. Louis. And that was, see how the dots get connected?
Yeah.
And they put me a part of project. That was a project, integrated farming systems. And in 3 years, I saw that project becoming $1 billion company, the Climate Corporation. So we were only 3-4 scientists, and in 3 years, it becomes a huge corporation, actually headquartered in San Francisco, and they have some part in Seattle. So that's where my learning came from for startups. And I was like, man, it took a scientist, a research, 30, 40 years to develop some equations. And here we have developed the whole algorithms for predictions of farming in 3 years, and now it's $1 billion company.
Is this through when you were at Monsanto?
Correct. So Monsanto,
and so you're talking about the project itself became a $3 billion project.
Not multi-billion-dollar company. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that, I'm sorry, and is that because you use the simulator to predict all of that, your findings, and then within 3 years, it was complete success?
Yes, I was part of the team that developed the initial algorithms. So it integrated farming systems actually was a product, first IT-based product for Monsanto that predicts a whole subscription for farmer. So, and we used to call it a cup of coffee prescription. What it means is a farmer comes and he tells you, okay, this is my field. Before he finishes his cup of coffee, we should predict a whole prescription for his farming season, like how much you should grow, where you should grow, actually by inches, how much seed you should put, then when you should put fertilizer, when you should harvest, everything.
Wow.
So that was just a start. And now I worked there till 2015. But that's where I learned about entrepreneurship, about startups. And then I started my own startups, a lot of them, a lot of failures, got a small exit in between. And then this is my second startup.
So you started one other one before the one that you have now, which is HeyHerbie, right?
Correct. And the previous one was more like an algorithm again we developed. Before even we can make a company out of it, our product got bought by some VCs.
Oh, okay. Got it. So then you ventured out and then created this new company, HeyHerbie.
Yes, and this has its own story, but yes.
Okay, let's hear about that.
So, yeah. HeyHerbie actually, oh my God, so much learning. And that's where most of the times, especially as a tech nerd, you find a solution to something and then you try to fit a problem to it. Like you find an algorithm or something like, okay, now where can I use this solution? Mm-hmm. And that is totally a wrong way to do entrepreneurship. So in 2018, there is a startup generator called as 10-10-10. It's based in Denver, Colorado. And now I think they have changed their name. It's X Genesis. So what they do is 10-10-10. They invite 10 experienced prospective CEOs. They keep them in Denver for 10 days and they offer them 10 wicked problems. When they call wicked, means hard to solve. And they provide you the whole network of support and they take some equity out of it. So I was part of that cohort in 2018. And during those 10 days, there were 10 problems. One of those problems that resonated with me was aging industry, because my parents are back in India now and they're getting older. So in the back of your head, you're always thinking about their safety, their health. And we just picked that problem and ran with it. And for first 9 months, we were just trying to understand the problem, that why there is unaffordability of long-term care in the United States. What is actually the underlying problem? And I didn't knew anything about aging industry prior to 2018. Now I have been taught so much through my team members and other resources. So that's where we come up with a solution. And this time, because of our prior experiences, we were more methodical in doing our startup. So before even doing anything, we hacked a video game. And
Which one?
Oh my God. And I don't play video games, believe it or not. So we hacked a video game and we put some features on it. And we invite 50 Marys. When I say Mary, Mary was our target customer. Mary is a baby boomer. She is 53-year-old who has a busy life, college-going kids, working lady, suddenly gets a call from her parents that they need help. And now her world is upside down. So we got 50 of those Marys inside a room, and we put few services on television to help their parents. And that's where we show them, okay, these are the 6 features, which one you like, which one you don't like, and they start working with us. So for first 3 months, we were just working with them. And once they say, okay, these 3 features are amazing, then we start building our own hardware. So actually what we do is, as HeyHerbie, we upgrade older adults' television. So it becomes their smart TV and smartphone without the complexity of smartphones. Because if you're talking to a 75 or 85-year-old, it's very different for them. I remember during one of our sessions, we gave a mouse to an older lady, and we said that you can move the cursor on the screen and click on something that will open. And how do you move? You move it with the mouse. But they have never seen it. So she picked up the mouse and she put it on the screen to move the cursor, right? Because they have never used it. So
right.
And that's kind of, if you try to teach them, there is a very fine balance of not infantilizing them. We should not let them feel like a child or a kid.
Right.
Because it's only about skill. They have never seen it, so how are they going to learn it? So the user interface was the problem. And that's where our version 3 is. It's as easy for an older adult as it can be without feeling like we are infantilizing them.
So tell me again, it's a TV that can also be used as a smartphone?
Correct. So as of now, we are offering 2 services on it. It's a platform.
Okay.
With one click, they can call their loved ones or even their friends and family members on their smartphones. So it's more like Facebook portal now. They have released it, but our idea was even before that. Social isolation, and that's why we keep going back to our problem. It's not the solution that we want to fit. We want to solve the problem. And Alina, I don't know if you know, social isolation has similar health impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So
wow.
Older adult on an average is alone in their house sometimes from 8 to 10 hours.
Oh yeah.
They don't have anybody to talk to. You can give them smartphones, you can give them iPads, but they don't know how to use them most of the times. So you can even get your reminders on your TV. So this becomes your window. TV becomes your window to the world. And on average, you and I, we might receive our most of the media through phones, computers, Netflix, streaming devices, but older adults still watch 50 hours of television per week. And even if they're not watching, they're so isolated, they keep it turned on, some voice in their house. So our device connects to any television, and it's an Android operating system. That means any service that is on the smartphone can be brought to your TV. So you can actually have your shuttles booked right through TV. Or if some shuttle is waiting for you to take you to a physician, you can see that. Similarly, you can get your fall prevention exercises done on the TV. And we are not doing all the contents. We have these third-party collaborations. So are bringing those services on our platform for older adults to use.
Okay, so I have so many things to say and to ask. That's, first of all, a genius idea. The reason why, from my experience, is because my husband's grandmother is 88 years old. And I was trying to help her out to get her Zoom set up for her church sessions and her friends. And let me tell you, it took me maybe about 3 months to finally get her on her own to get Zoom set up. So
Right.
love what you're doing. So does that TV have Zoom capabilities?
It actually, we have our own Zoom. So you
Oh,
just click.
okay.
So as soon as they click, and that's why I'm saying one click. So with one click, they're gonna see the big name there. So your grandmother, for example, gonna see the name Alina, always gonna look in a green color or one color, red color. And she clicks OK, and it will give send a call to your smartphone. And she can
Mm.
add even your husband to it, even anybody, any other family member to the call with one clicks. I'm not surprised when you say 3 months for Zoom. So we are running this our product in two retirement communities right now. One in Hartford Healthcare, and another
Mm.
is Priority Life Care. And out of all the residents, there are only 2 or 3 residents who have smartphone. So other than that, somebody actually from their staff, from the community retirement facility staff, have to take a Zoom computer and make a Zoom call once a week for older adult, especially in COVID times. And it's so hard. And sometimes when you
Yeah.
take it, you tell them, hey, your daughter is here, talk to them, and they kept looking somewhere else. They don't understand what's happening. So it's yeah, how we can really make it easy for them.
Yes.
That's the whole
Yes. I
aspect.
love it. I love it. Okay, so my next thought was so you had a really big experience with soil algorithms and farming. This has nothing to do with soil. So tell me again, how did you transition? And I know you said you did that cohort program. So was that after Monsanto? Did you quit Monsanto and did did that happen simultaneously or after your first startup? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So I quit Monsanto in 2015, end of 2015 or 16. Yeah. But that's the point. My learning was mostly on the algorithm sides, whether we are
Okay.
writing how the nutrients or pesticides are flowing inside the soil, getting on the water, and me getting in the lakes. But it's computer programming, right? Simulation and AI, and then I get into machine learning. So it was all that aspect. But it got me so excited that how fast you can make the impact in somebody's life. In 3 to 4 years, it was not next 3 to 4 years, I was not learning mostly or not using my technical knowledge of soils per se, but I was using mostly the computer and then the startup experience that I gained during those years in Monsanto. So I got married in 2014, and my wife, she's now associate professor at University of Cincinnati. So she moved from St. Louis to Cincinnati, and I thought, okay, this is an opportunity where I can get out of my comfort zone. And I quit Monsanto, and I was like, okay, I need to learn more about startups. And I moved with my wife to Cincinnati. And
Mm.
I joined here University of Cincinnati Research Institute. But actually, it's not the research institutes. What they do is they give consulting to the professors who comes up with cool ideas to have their own startups or to get more grants or to collaborate with big giant companies like Procter and Gamble, GE. So
Mhm.
we as a consultant help them to create a story around their idea, startup solution, and sell it. That was an amazing learning experience for me to get into this, how you can create the story, how you actually the solution can be sold. So that learning experience. So ultimately, I think by 2018 and all those learnings, it was not about technical things. It was more about how you can actually use the resources that you get from your surroundings in a way so you can create your startup. or have an entrepreneurial journey. That's I think was the main learning rather than relying on my technical expertise. But I have a story. I used to volunteer to elderly homes in Cincinnati just to learn more about this business, right?
You volunteered where?
So I volunteered in senior care homes.
Got it.
And sometimes they just want to talk, older adults who are there, so they're so socially isolated. So I used to just go there and listen to their problems, and I was a volunteer ombudsman. Ombudsman is actually who listen to their problems and can raise those issues to state government. So
that's awesome.
But most of the times when I used to go there, some older adults have pots, flowering pots in their rooms. And I talk to them about soil. And I tell them that I'm a soil scientist. And they get so excited. They used to call our volunteer agency, hey, can we talk to Ashish? I have some soil questions. So you never know what can help you where, right?
Right.
It was amazing.
So how old were you when you started your first startup?
I was 36, and in 2 years, we got that humble exit. And this one, I was 38.
Got it. So you quit your corporate career, you moved to another city, and you had no plans. You just went full force.
You can say no plans, yeah. And that's the thing. I wanted to start our conversation with the note that I missed.
Yeah.
If somebody who's your listeners can get anything out of my story or my journey, there are two things that I learned so late in my career and realizing now, but I was lucky enough that it kept happening to me. The one was, if you can get anything out of this journey, is one, be focused and have goal in your life, a goal. But that goal has to be bigger than you. And what I mean bigger than you is, it's not about like I should have $1 million when I'm 30, or I should have a car. So bigger than you, like you are doing. Great example. You're trying to help others, right? Immigrant entrepreneurs from our stories. Right. So it has to be bigger than you. And then the side effect is you will earn money. You will get, that's the side things. But have a goal. Once you have that goal and focus, all the decision making becomes very easy. You just have to align, like, okay, is this decision aligns with my goal? Yes, no. Yes, do it. No, leave it. So life becomes very easy. And I'm realizing it. I've started realizing it in the last 2 years. And I have now a few goals. And second is, oh my God, have a network. Surround yourself with the people who means a good company. If you want to be an entrepreneur, surround yourself with entrepreneurs. If you want to be a good journalist, surround yourself with good journalists. I was just lucky enough that I was always surrounded by good people. So I think these two things are amazing, especially for immigrants. Like when I came here alone. I didn't know anybody. And that was a huge, not setback, but kind of a deficiency in my entrepreneurial career. I didn't have network. Even still, I face sometimes when I see other people who grew up here, have a network. It's so easy for them to raise money, especially the first rounds, friends, family round, we call, before VCs come in, right? Mm-hmm. So I think surround yourself with good network is always great.
Awesome. That's so powerful. I'm soaking it all in. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ashish. That's awesome. So where do you think you got your entrepreneurial drive? Were your parents entrepreneurs? I know you mentioned through Monsanto that experience. Is that where you think that spark of entrepreneurial drive came from?
I don't even know. I have that entrepreneurial drive, but over the time I become a good learner. I think that was more important than. Now I'm a very voracious reader. I read a lot. But when you see, they try to find traits for entrepreneur, right? Personality traits. Or they try to find personality trait for president or any profession, right? And you will see that personality traits are everywhere. Like an entrepreneur, I have seen entrepreneurs who are introvert. I have seen entrepreneurs who are so aggressive. I have seen entrepreneurs who are so humble and authentic. So they're everywhere, right? But one thing that I found common is, again, the focus, hard work, and grit. And that's what I learned over time. And that I think that's what entrepreneurship is. You have a problem that you want to solve, and you are not going to solve it in first one, five tries, 10 tries, 100 tries. You might have to try 1,000 times. You keep doing it with a grit, right? And I think even saying somebody who's intelligent is wrong. I think it's just you have done it so many times that the probability of you being successful increases. And it's not like you're smart or intelligent. It's just you're trying too much. And that's good. That's what we need. And I think that's what I learned over the time from my mentors, from my surroundings, from my dad, that you just have to learn the basics of the problem, where the root cause of the problem is, and keep pounding on it or until you find the solution.
So amazing. So powerful. Thank you. Can I ask you, what kind of books do you read? Are they business books, entrepreneurial books, or something else?
Mostly business books, entrepreneurial books. Recently, I've started reading a lot spiritual books. And if I'm becoming too philosophical, just stop me.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But for past 2 years, especially, I'm loving it. It means life becomes so simple if you have bigger goals. And when I say bigger, it doesn't mean you want to have a company like Amazon. No. When I say bigger, means long lasting. Like I just want to have a good family and want to have a peaceful life. So everything becomes so easy. The decision-making process becomes so easy. So yeah, mostly business books. And now you can, after hearing me, a lot of spiritual books too.
Got it. So I know you mentioned raising capital. Did you raise capital for your first startup? And if yes, did you raise capital for your second startup?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
For the first one, it was kind of we're bootstrapping, and we got this offer. So I was happy, and my wife was pregnant here. So I was happy to get out of it. The second one, we have raised almost close to $500,000 already, and we will be opening our next round in February to raise our seed round, or you can call it Series A.
Got it. So I know you mentioned network and mentors. Did you have any mentors when you first started your business, your first startup or your second one?
And no, and that's why I said if somebody can take this something out of this conversation that we're having, is surround yourself with those people. I was surrounded by scientists, right? And that was not aligned to entrepreneurial, because scientist means perfection. Right? Your data has to be 100% right, means at least 99% right. That's this. Whereas entrepreneurship is like perfection is actually equivalent to failure. So no, I didn't. But that's why I relied on books. I took some courses, entrepreneurial courses. I was lucky enough to have a good family, supporting family. My wife, she supported me. She still supports me a lot. And that's why I was able to have a couple of courses here and there. And I still do that. Every year, it's like I have to take few courses. I just finished my course in mastering sales because I had no experience in sales.
Okay.
So I took a course from Kellogg and just finished this last month. Before that, I did a course from MIT in business. Before that, on entrepreneurship from Harvard. So every year I do some course, a lot of reading. But after 2018, I'm lucky enough now to be in that network where people around me are entrepreneurs. They're guiding me, advising me. So I'm really lucky enough.
Did you join any organizations to get those mentors, like Entrepreneurs Organization, or what are some other ones?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm still a member of TIE. The Indus Entrepreneurship Association.
What is it called?
TIE, TIE.
TIE, okay.
The Indus Entrepreneurs.
Got it.
Indus Entrepreneurs. And it's one of the biggest Entrepreneurial Association.
Wow.
And Indus means Indus Valley, so from India. So a lot of people from California, around the world are part of this. And they have
Wow.
almost every state has a chapter. And a lot of accelerators. Again, surround yourself with people.
Yeah. I love it. So, Ashish, I'm really interested to know, how do you look at failures and how do you overcome them?
If you're not failing, then you're not doing something new, right?
Yes.
Means there are so many sayings about it. But one thing I've found is, and I have been stressed out in my life a lot of times, and that's part of the game. When you're stressed out because you have failed, you didn't learn from it. Most of the times you retrospect, right? And that I failed because of this. And that retrospection is very, very necessary to learn from your failures. Otherwise, it's just going to take you deeper into the rabbit hole and you will be depressed and then you will quit. So I think I learned over time that I have to even analyze or dissect my failures. If you just leave them, failures, and start feeling sorry about you, I think you lose the opportunities. But if you perfectly dissect the failures, they become the opportunities. For example, my dad, so one thing is, I realize now I'm 40, every decade, you realize 4 or 5 things that your parents were right about. Right? So those things are getting more and more. And my dad and my parents used to tell us when I was a kid, study, you have to study to be this, to do that. I think till my undergrad, I was not studying.
Yeah.
But after master's, I started studying. And then I saw the failures, why I was not good at, why I was average or above average in school, but not excellent. I learned that, implement that. And by God's grace, in PhD, I have 4.40 GPA.
Wow.
But only because you learn from failures. And that's how I think I have been in entrepreneurship. It's just learning from your failures. Put your ego aside if you're going to be in entrepreneurship. So many people going to crush you. Don't take it personally. There are so many opportunities. If you're losing 1, 10, don't worry. Next one is coming for you. Yeah, I think just don't get failures to your head, and rather dissect them and learn from it.
Yeah. And you don't seem like a person that will ever stress out. You seem very mellow and calm, and you got your stuff together.
No, so that's one fact about me. In last 400 days, I have not missed more than 5 days of meditation.
Wow.
I enjoy it. But that's good. If you can feel it just from the voice, that's good.
Yeah.
Meditation is working.
Yes, it is. I gotta do more of that. So let's switch gears and talk about successes. Are there any successes that you would like to outline from your immigrant entrepreneur journey?
I think the best success I got from last 3 years especially is to define success for me. It's so amazing when I change this perspective of success for me. I become this calm, Alina. I really, I didn't, touch wood, I don't get so much stressed out anymore, because most of the times before I was defining my success that I have to be like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or a lot of money or a lot big house or a company where I will be doing this. I think the biggest success is I know how to define success for me. I don't have to define my success because of somebody else has defined his success in that way. And I have met so many entrepreneurs in usual way who are successful. Like one had 7 exits. Out of those 3 were IPOs, and he got a divorced, 2 divorces. Is that success? I don't know. I have met entrepreneurs whose kids have attempted suicide because they were so busy making their companies. Is that success? I don't know. So for me, I think my biggest success is I have a 4-year-old. I love him. I love to play with him. I have a wife. She supports me a lot. She's a professor. We have a great life in Cincinnati. That's the biggest success. Apart from that, if I think having a PhD from here, academically learning so much, I think, yeah, those are my biggest successes. And if I can, with Herbie, if we can even help few older adults to be happy at their age, I think that'll be an amazing success.
That's so awesome. Ashish, I'm really interested to know, is giving back, either volunteering your time or giving back to the community, something that is a part of your business values?
Yeah, I think this whole startup is about giving back to the society, because I know this word is not looked upon in a correct way in our industry, in aging industry. Silver tsunami, they call it. Silver tsunami means because a lot of people are getting old and we don't have enough infrastructure to help them. So it is kind of what we are trying to achieve here is how we can help not only to prolong the life, because our health system, Alina, has created ways to prolong the life. Mm-hmm. But it has to be how we can prolong the quality of life. And I feel really sorry to say that our health system is designed in a way where if you are sick, that's actually more beneficial for them.
Yeah.
And that's how they see us, like how long I can keep them alive but sick.
Yes.
That's where the money is coming from.
Yes.
And that's where I think if we can make, instead of this fundamental, we should not work with this fundamental thing. We should work with have a great life, great quality of life. And money is secondary. But yes, I love to volunteer if I get an opportunity. I love to go. Monsanto has a great impact on me. Monsanto used to give you voluntary hours free, like they were included in your work hours. So we used to go to nurseries in underprivileged areas, do some physical work, manual work there. So it was amazing, and I still love to do it.
So I have to ask, because I don't know this answer, and I don't know much about elderly equipment, but your device, are you the only one in the market that had created something like this, or are there other competitors?
In 2018, there were only 2.
Wow.
But then even now we have Facebook portal, right? And to an extent, Alexa is also getting into this field. So, and that's why we are not targeting direct to customers. That's where Alexa and Facebook portal are. We are going in retirement homes.
So you're the only one that is touching the lives of elderly homes through your device, through that smart TV and smartphone, right?
Correct. And there are some differences. I mean, everybody is trying, and especially the COVID has accelerated the things. And that's where we are struggling now. And I am struggling. It becomes a race now. 9 months ago, it was like, yes, we were alone or nobody was chasing us. Now everybody is chasing us. So that's why it become a race.
Got it. Well, you're on the top, so you're already ahead of everyone else. So good stuff. So I want to know, what are some things you would advise the next aspiring immigrant that wants to start their own business listening to you right now?
Be cautious. There is so much advice out there nowadays. Be cautious who is advising you. Don't pick just all the advice, and it happens, right? Mm-hmm. Be humble and inclusive. Again, the goal has to be bigger than you. If goal is just having money or something which is very selfish, you're not going to get that much support. But if goal is bigger, like Alina, yours is bigger, that's why so many people love to come and talk to you, because it's bigger. And that's the biggest, I think, way you can also achieve your personal goals. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong to have money or it's wrong to think about house. It's all good. It's just how you can use or utilize the resources around you. If you want the whole community to help you reach your goals, you have to also give back. And then the more you give back, the more growth you're going to see. I think it's as easy as it can be. Just have focused goals and surround yourself with good people. And there are so many resources nowadays, and people are eager. Those who have achieved success, most of the times they're eager to give back. So reach out to them, create a community. And that was the biggest pain as an immigrant. You come here, you don't have that network. So build that.
So powerful. Amazing. I love it. So to wrap up, I have super, super fast questions, if you're okay with that, Ashish.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What time do you normally start your day?
So 5:30.
Awesome. How many employees do you have?
We are a team of 7 people.
Awesome. How often do you watch TV in a week?
So now TV watching has different definitions. But yeah, I watch at least 1 or 2 hours, but mostly not the series, documentaries, or news.
And how many hours of work do you normally put in, say, in a week?
On average,
yeah,
it goes 50 hours. Try to
40, 50. Awesome. That's fabulous. Well, Ashish, thank you so, so much for coming on my podcast. I am super, super excited and thrilled for your journey. And I really hope your company goes public one day. And I've learned so much from this talk. And again, I'm honored to chat with you. And thank you so much for coming on to my show.
Same here, Elena. Thanks a lot. And I am honored to be on your podcast. And you're doing a tremendous job.
Aw, thank you.
No, you are. Keep
doing it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so, so much for tuning in. I just wanted to ask if you can give me a quick shout out wherever you're listening to this podcast. I would love to give you a shout out as well on a future episode of mine. I'll see you guys all next time for another exciting and impactful episode. Take care. Take care.